I invite him to deliver on the result of the Roundtable on Economy. Please, Paolo.
Well, thank you very much, Josep, and good morning, everybody. We had an interesting roundtable on economic challenges and economic resilience. I think there are three main takeaways from this conversation. First, a strong and common commitment to cooperation, which is obvious but not so obvious. The awareness from everybody of the interconnection that we have. So what happens in the Indo-Pacific region affects the European Union and vice versa. This means no decoupling, no protectionism, but to find ways to continue and strengthen our cooperation. Second takeaway, cooperation to face the challenges we have. Among those challenges, the discussion addressed in particularly first security, geopolitical tensions, Russia's war, Middle East crisis, but also not only geopolitical in the sense of war and peace, but also security about water and energy. Other challenges, of course, climate change, sustainability, alleviating poverty, addressing the burden of the debt, in particular for emerging economies. Third and last takeaway was the commitment to improve our partnership. Our trade agreements, the Global Gateway Initiative was mentioned, how to address the need to keep strong and more secure our supply chains, critical minerals, inclusiveness, need to discuss also our EU initiative of CBAM. Second, customs procedures, how to improve partnership on customs. Third, digital and artificial intelligence. Fourth, and very important and stressed by all the interventions, connectivity. And finally, common commitment to research and development and the human capital. Without a stronger human capital, it will be very difficult to support our sustainable development. Thank you.
Paolo. Thank you, Paolo. I'm going to give the floor to the Foreign Minister from Timor-Leste, Bendito Freitas, to brief us about the Green Transition Roundtable.
Your Excellency, Mr. Josep Borrell, honorable ministers from the Indo-Pacific region and European Union member states, distinguished guests. The assembling of the round table entitled The Green Transition, Partnering for a Sustainable Future marks a significant step in advancing collaborative efforts between the European Union and Indo-Pacific nations to address pressing environmental challenges. Against the backdrop of rising temperatures, increased weather extremes, and biodiversity loss, the imperative for urgent and joint actions is underscored. The commitment of the European Union and the Indo-Pacific partners to achieve net zero economies by 2050 forms the cornerstone of this discussion, reflecting a shared dedication to sustainable, inclusive, and resilient pathways. The Roundtable serves as a pivotal platform to explore cooperative strategies in mitigating climate change, preserving biodiversity, and navigating to the complexities of a just energy transition. As nations grapple with challenges that transcend borders, the collective commitment to charting a sustainable course forward is paramount. The report streaming from this roundtable encapsulates crucial themes central to European Union and Indo-Pacific collaboration. It outlines the tangible outcomes of existing partnerships, such as the Green-Blue Alliance for the Pacific Climate Change, Adaptation and Resilience in Africa team in Europe. This discussion captures the essence of the collective aspirations and identified pathways for cooperative actions. Conclusion and recommendations of the discussions. Number one is to promote commitment for a stronger European Union and Indo-Pacific partnership. Collective actions required. Sense of urgency for island dimension existential threat. Shared common goals. Calls for greater support, inclusiveness and collaboration. Tackling trade and technical barriers. Reform international financial institutions. Projects and global gateway. Education and awareness building on climate change. European Investment Bank can be also known as Indo-Pacific Bank. Setting on a higher level ministerial dialogue. Simplify access to resources to ensure good delivery on national determined contributions. Seeds are an integral part of the solution, although we are the most affected. We can learn from shared experiences, increase capacity building and technology, and also to have support related to specific countries' needs. Thank you.
Thank you to Minister Freitas. Now I give the floor to the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Sri Lanka, Ali Sabri, to report on our panel on security.
Yeah. Thank you, High Representative, Your Excellency Joseph Borrell, Prime Ministers, Your Excellencies, my dear colleagues and friends. We had a very interesting and thought-provoking discussion on geopolitical and security challenges, obviously, because of the current situation in the world. But everyone who made interventions clearly recognized the interconnected nature of the world, particularly the Indo-Pacific and Europe, and stressed the need to continue to work towards this connection. And further, everyone was in uniform, stressed the need to ensure the freedom of navigation, free flow of commerce, and to prevent any obstacle which could have damaging consequences. It was also the idea of most of the interventions that we must continue to talk to each other and resolve the issues and give diplomacy a chance, because that's the only way we can proceed. It was also agreed and stressed that peace and stability is prerequisite for the prosperity of the globe and the region. And further, it was also agreed that no region, no country can survive in isolation, and integration had become a part of the common way of living today. Parties also stressed and concerns regarding various conflicts, mostly based on the proximity to the conflict to them. Russian aggression was a major issue for our participants, particularly in the region, for obvious reason. It was stressed that the UN Charter on Sovereignty need to be respected. It was also brought to the notice of the participant by many countries about the manner in which the conflict in Gaza is turning out and the need to protect the human lives there. Some of the colleagues from the Indo-Pacific raised their concerns about the evolving situation in the South Sea, South China Sea and the South Sea. It's important all of all of them stress the need for rules-based order, and those rules need to be determined, and one or two powerful nations should not be allowed to change the rule to suit their convenience. It was also brought to the notice of alarming double standards when it comes to responding to some conflict in some areas where same standards were not given. So therefore, it's important that in order to gain credibility, that same standard and respect should be given to all conflict in order to achieve long-lasting peace. It was also stressed while we get involved in this global power rivalry, we shouldn't forget about other challenges where we can agree and fight together. Terrorism, cybersecurity threat, SDG challenges, climate change challenges, connectivity, and technology transfer, particularly in order to support the agricultural advancement of the countries where they need so. So thank you very much. I think these were the issues we discussed on that particular table.
Thank you, Minister Savary. And now we will listen to the final keynote speakers, starting with the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Tonga, after the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Somalia, and after the European Commissioner for International Partnership, my colleague Urpilainen. Please, the Minister for Foreign Affairs of Tonga, Madam Utoikamanu.
Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, the High Representative, Excellencies, co-moderators, and esteemed guests, it is my pleasure to address our closing plenary session, and I'm proud to represent the vast and tropical Pacific region. I congratulate the European Union for its successful facilitation of our third European Union Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. Excellencies, all of us stand at a crucial and pivotal moment for action. The European Union brought us together to address the long-standing, vital and involving connection between the European Union and the Indo-Pacific region. This relationship matters not just for our respective regions, but for the global community at large. Foremost, we as the Blue Pacific have had immense historical and present-day importance to the Pacific region. This importance is bound to be even more critical for our and succeeding generations' future. The Pacific is more than just a vast expanse of land and sea. It is a region that boasts diverse and vibrant cultures, captivating histories, and abundant natural resources. The importance of the Pacific cannot be overstated in terms of its strategic value and its potential to significantly influence the future of multilateral diplomacy and cooperation. The European Union is known for its dedication to multilateralism, human rights, and sustainable development. You are bound to play a vital role as a partner in this ever more rapidly changing times. The EU's approach to collaboration in the Indo-Pacific focus on inclusivity, sustainability, and fundamental freedoms. These values align with the aspirations and values of the Pacific community and our leaders' vision as outlined in the 2050 strategy for the Blue Pacific region. Excellencies, the most critical and existential challenge that the Pacific region has been dealing with for decades is the climate crisis. The Pacific's low-lying islands and coastal shores are on the front lines of climate change. We live every day with rising sea levels, severe weather events, and the existential threat to our survival. Climate change threats to our region have various aspects. They include threats to territorial integrity, land, water, health, infrastructure, food security, biological diversity, livelihoods, and ecosystems. This also threatens our mental health and our sense of identity and nationhood. We commend the EU for its leadership in climate diplomacy, its commitment to the Paris Agreement, and an ambitious Green Deal. Yet we also urge the EU to increase significantly its support in terms of climate finance, technology transfers, and capacity to expedite the process of decarbonization in the Blue Pacific. We also invite the EU to collaborate with us as we strive for a fair and equitable transition to a Pacific region free from fossil fuels. We look forward to deepening our cooperation in climate action, specifically in the areas of renewable energy, ocean conservation, and disaster resilience. Excellencies, economic collaboration has been and always will be a crucial cornerstone of our relationship between the EU and the Pacific. As one of the world's largest economic areas, the European Union presents promising prospects for trade and investment in the Indo-Pacific regions, promoting sustainable development. We support the EU in maintaining its involvement with the Pacific region by implementing initiatives that foster fair trade, invest in infrastructure, and promote growth of sustainable ocean economies. Excellencies, the Indo-Pacific region experiences a rapidly growing interest regarding security. The security challenges involve maritime security, cyber threats, and transnational crime. Tonga, like other Pacific countries, appreciate the EU's efforts in promoting a rules-based international system. We warmly welcome the EU's efforts to contribute to regional stability through the support for capacity building in maritime security and law enforcement. The strong cultural and interpersonal ties between the European Union and the Pacific region are the foundation of our long-lasting connection. Education exchanges, cultural programs, and tourism have, and I'm confident, will provide avenues for our people to better understand and appreciate one another. We look forward to deepening our relationship. We look forward to building exchanges that promote mutual respect and understanding. After all, this is the very basis for successful partnerships. Excellencies, in concluding, allow me to once again allude to the strong bond that has been built between the European Union and the Blue Pacific region. Ours is not just a partnership built out of necessity. This is a partnership of active participants where we advocate for each other. It is a partnership grounded in shared values and aspirations. We are at a crucial juncture where the actions we take will shape the future of our region and the entire world. Working in harmony, we can create a future that is peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable for everyone. Thank you. Malo pito.
Thank you to Minister Utoy Kamanu. Now the Acting Minister for Foreign Affairs of Somalia, Ali Mohamed Omar.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed delegates, fellow members of Indo-Pacific and European Union Forum. Our region, the European Union and Indian Pacific are closely linked in our goals and challenges. We are more than partners. Our success and safety are intertwined. Our joint commitment to governed by rule-based and United Nations Charter shows our dedication to working together responsibly to global affairs. Our future are deeply connected. We need to work together in this troubled world for a shared prosperity. Key areas that demand a better cooperation include sustainable growth, environmental protection, managing the ocean, digital partnership, and better connectivity, and ensuring security and defense. For Somalia, situated at the important sea route, these areas are very relevant to our national goals and hopes for the region. A major part of the work together must focus on building an open and rule-based approach to security. This not only protects our joint security interests, but also helps our economies and society to thrive. The seas that link us are essential. Managing them well is key to our success. Addressing climate change is also an urgent issue. Somalia, which contributes very little on the climate change, also receives it receives a bigger impact. We are between a drought and a flooding. 3 months we have a dry season, and 3 months we have heavy rain. That's an unusual in the past. We are committed to moving toward a cleaner energy and protecting our environment and natural resources. This is essential, not just necessary. In Somalia, we feel the effect of climate change and committed to contributing to a global fight. The security in the region is very, very important, especially as we see right now the impact of what the Houthis are doing in the Red Sea. On January 1st this year, the Ethiopian government have also tried to do something in the southern side of Red Sea. Ethiopia, which is a landlocked country, trying to access the sea by illegal means through Somalia. We are very grateful for EU's position on this issue, but if this issue is not handled properly at this time, it could also create another radical group in the southern part of Red Sea, which Red Sea will become the northern side. You have Houthis, and the southern side you will have another radical group. Somalia was fighting with a terror group for the past 16 years called Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab has emerged from another intervention of Ethiopian government to Somalia in 2006-2007. So the crisis that happened in one place could easily impact the rest of the world. So the rule-based and mutual respect of sovereignty is the cornerstone of the international rules, and we have to protect wherever it's possible. In closing, let us take this chance to strengthen our ties, work together, and strive for a future where our regions do well on their own and also support each other. Let us work together, a world that is richer, safer, and sustainable for everyone. I thank you.
Thank you to Minister Omar from Somalia. Now the floor is to the European Commissioner for International Partnership, Jutta Urpilainen. Jutta, please.
Honourable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I am so pleased to join you for the closing session of this third Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. Let me thank High Representative Vice President Borrell and the Belgium Presidency for bringing us together today. As the Commissioner for International Partnerships, I have been fortunate to travel to many of the countries represented here today. From Samoa to Tanzania, I have been struck by the incredible diversity of the Indo-Pacific region. I have noted just how many common interests and priorities we actually share. Addressing climate change and biodiversity loss, promoting economic stability, fostering security and resilience. With these priorities in mind, 2 years ago, the EU developed the Indo-Pacific strategy and our 300 billion euros global gateway strategy. Both actually will act as catalysts for increased dialogue, partnership and investment. And this forum today points how far we have come. Today, the EU and the Indo-Pacific are more connected than ever. In November, with the Samoa Agreement, we started a new era of strategic partnership between the EU and the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States. 3 months earlier, at the Global Gateway Forum here in Brussels, we gave boost to sustainability and help address large infrastructure needs through several new agreements. The EU and our member states, together as Team Europe, committed 500 million euros towards a just energy transition partnership in Vietnam, tackling climate change through the renewable energy transition. In Bangladesh, the EU and the European Investment Bank will invest 400 million euros to foster renewable energy. In Tanzania, the EU and AfD will provide 146 million euros for the construction of the Kakano hydropower plant. These all come on top of numerous bilateral initiatives already underway, such as on digital transformation in the Philippines, green jobs in Pakistan, green hydrogen in Kenya, and ports modernization in Papua New Guinea. And let's not forget the progress we have made on ambitious regional projects. With the ASEAN Southeast Asia Green Initiative, the Green-Blue Alliance between the EU and the Pacific, and the climate change adaptation and resilience in Africa. Together, we are leveraging hundreds of millions in grants, guarantees and loans to support the green and digital transitions in the Indo-Pacific. Dear friends, we know the Indo-Pacific is home to some of the largest and fastest growing economies on Earth. By 2030, it will host 2/3 of the global middle class, having lifted millions out of poverty through economic growth. The region's economic dynamism and population growth create both needs and opportunities. Green infrastructure, sustainable energy, advanced manufacturing, improved education and health services. By working together, we can shape a greener, fairer and more sustainable future. Together, we can be a force for change. So let me close by thanking you all for being here and sharing your insights. The European Union looks forward to continuing our dialogue in the future. Thank you very much.
And now I give the floor to myself to pronounce the last.
How many minutes?
Dear friends, ministers, dear colleagues, it's my privilege to say the last word, not the last word, the last words in this meeting. Time flies, and it was already 3 years ago that we adopted our Indo-Pacific strategy here in Europe. And we did that because we were conscious of the importance to increase the dialogue and cooperation between the two regions. And it's good that 3 years later, here in Brussels, 70 delegations from all over the Indo-Pacific region attended this meeting. This is the living proof of the consolidation of our links with this vast region and our joint commitment to ensure a secure, stable and prosperous Indo-Pacific. Everything has been said. I will not repeat what has been said by my predecessors talking to this assembly, but I want to remark how aware we are that the Indo-Pacific region stands at the crossroad of global affairs, and that our cooperation is more important than ever. We need to work together for our security, many dimensions of security, even economic security, cyber security, climate security, security against manipulation of information, security against terrorism. We need to work together for a shared prosperity that has to be sustainable, that has to be resilient against economic shocks, that has to prevent the disruption of value chains, the long value chains that go through thousands of kilometers from producers and consumers, from Europe to Indo-Pacific and vice versa, that could be the target of the new conflict. We have to work together to green our economies and societies, to ensure energy security. Some of you have said today, we were not responsible for climate change, but we paid a high price for that. And that's true. And that's why we have to work for an energy transition that has to be just. Otherwise, it will not happen. Because inside the societies and among countries, it will be resistance to accept sacrifices and efforts that are not fairly distributed. Sustainable energy is a universal concern. Many people around the world need to consume more energy because they don't consume almost nothing. So the key for the balance of the global climate is not to ask to everybody to do the same efforts, but to distribute them according with the responsibilities and capacities. What a great task in front of us. Today has been very useful to continue working together. We have to keep the momentum and use the insights gained at this forum as a roadmap for our collective journey towards close cooperation, mutually enriching partnership, and most important, lasting friendship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. With this,